Well, good morning, or good afternoon, depending on what part of the country you're joining us from. Coach Kevin here, and let's go ahead and get started. First thing I'd like to do is go ahead and share my screen with you, point out a couple of things. First thing I'd like to point out is that we have a meetup or a Facebook group, excuse me. We have a Facebook group that coincides with our meetup group, and it has the same name as the meetup group. Live Law of Attraction, Money, Wealth, and Success Training. And the way to come find us is just go into Facebook, go into your account, go to where it says search Facebook, and start typing in Live Law of Attraction, Money, Wealth, and Success Training. And it will pop up, and feel free to come join us. We'd love to have you. I'll tell you why you probably want to join us in just a moment. The other thing I'll share with you right here is you can go directly to Facebook. You can go to facebook.com/groups/money manifesting coach, as if it's one word. So let me repeat that. That is facebook.com/groups/money manifesting coach. So why would you want to join the Facebook group? A couple different reasons you might want to do so. Reason number one, as long as I remember to hit record, which I typically do, you will find the meetings that we've had recently, like these right here. Within 24 to 48 hours, I will post today's meeting into Facebook. So this is where you can go ahead and find it. So let's say you're with us today and you really like what we talked about and you want to review it, you can come back and do that. Within 24, 48 hours, it should be up there. The other reason you might want to do that, let's say, for instance, you're with us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. For some reason, you can't make it Thursday. You're back with us potentially on Friday, or maybe you miss a couple days in between. It's a good way to go review what we went over. So if we're in the process of going through material, sometimes we're going to go through something on a given day that it's just going to be that thing for that day. Okay. Sometimes we'll find something that it'll take us maybe 2 or 3 days to go through. Sometimes we might be actually reading a book together and dissecting it, and me sharing with you insight and what it really means, because a lot of these books can be confusing to people. Then in that scenario, it might take several days. And so if you're with us a few days, but you miss one, you might want to come back and review it. The other thing, of course, is in the Facebook group, you can go ahead, just like any other Facebook group, and ask questions and comment and share with each other. Just don't use it to spam people, please. Don't use it for promotional material, and everything will be all good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the link to the Facebook group right now, go into the chat section here, and send it to you guys, so that if you want to go ahead and click on that, that'll take you to the Facebook group. You'll know where to join it. Now, you'll want to click on it before we close the meeting if you're not just going to look it up, because after the meeting, this will all disappear. Okay. And then the recording itself isn't going to show the chat links. You won't be able to click on it. All right. What is the next thing I want to share with you is this. We are actually in the process of going through a book. It's a book called The Science of Getting Rich. It was written, or actually published, in 1910, written by a gentleman by the name of Wallace Wattles. Okay. I'll give you a little background on the book here in a moment, but the very first thing I want to do is show you where you can get a copy, because I happen to have had a paperback copy. I have it on Kindle. I have it on Audible. I even have some seminars and things with whole workbooks attached to them. I've actually been trained, just to give you just a quick background on me, I've been trained by Bob Proctor and his team to be a coach for their materials. And so I've been a coach and facilitator for Bob Proctor. And currently I'm independent now, not because of any reason, anything specific, other than a lot of people, once you grow and learn, you end up spreading your own wings and doing your own thing. And you have your own style and your own personality. However, truly love Bob Proctor and his team, totally friends with many of the coaches on the team, and still mastermind with that group on a frequent basis. So anyhow, that's my background as far as how does Kevin know this material? and how does he know how to coach it? But I will tell you, even more importantly, first of all, let me show you how to get a copy of the book for yourself. So all I did, I'm going to remember that we're on page 33 right here. I'm going to go back on my browser to show you where I got this free copy, because I'd like you to pick up the same free copy and then you could use it to follow along. And then when I say we're on page whatever, you'll be on the same page. All I did was go into Google and type in The Science of Getting Rich and then PDF, and then see what popped up organically. The first one, I do this frequently when I'm trying to share material to find a free copy for you guys. It's not always the first one that pops up that I like and we use, but in this case it was. The first one, at least that popped up for me, came from thesecret.tv. It says The Science of Getting Rich The Secret. I like that one because I knew who owned the website. The owner of that website is a gal by the name of Rhonda Byrne, and she is the originator and producer and creator of the movie and the book, The Secret, which many of you have probably heard of. Maybe you've watched the movie, maybe you've read the book. By the way, if you have not seen the movie, you probably should. It's a great movie. It doesn't give you everything you're going to need to know to make the law of attraction work for you the way you would want it to, but it is definitely a very good introduction. And if you happen to have Netflix, you can find it on Netflix, which is perfect. So go watch it, okay? But Rhonda Byrne was given this book, The Science of Getting Rich, by her daughter. And it was because of this book that Rhonda learned about the law of attraction. And then she went and researched other things and got so excited about it, she created both the movie and the book, The Secret. Therefore, if she had not read The Science of Getting Rich and that not given to her by her daughter, we may never have had that movie or that book. So when I clicked on this particular link, here's what happened. You'll see, because I just did it again. So I just clicked on the link, and hopefully it'll open up for me here quickly. It says slowly, please, pretty please. Because it should bring me back to the book. Here we go. So I didn't have to type in my name or email or anything like that. I just clicked the link and bam, it popped up right here. Let me go back to the page that we're on about gratitude. And then what you can do is the same thing if you like, and then just use your download function and save it to your device. All right. So gratitude, I'm going to blow this up so you can see it better on my screen. Get it quite a bit bigger. There we go. All righty. And for me, The Science of Getting Rich, why did I start with this? And I started this particular group last Monday. So here we are, Tuesday of this week. So today would be, we did it 5 days last week. We did it yesterday. So that's day 6. Today is the 7th day that we're going to be doing this. But why did I choose this book? An impact on Rhonda Byrne's life. Well, it had a big impact on my life too. Back in early 2006, actually this was in middle of February 2006, I was introduced to this book through a seminar called The Science of Getting Rich. It was actually taught by Bob Proctor through one of his coaches and facilitators by the name of Leslie Householder. So I attended that particular seminar. It was 3 days long. And after that seminar, I was given some additional material and decided to get some additional coaching and training. And within about 2.5 months, well, I'll tell you when it was, March 31st was the last day I had a job ever. April 1st of 2006 through May, essentially took a vacation. And then from May 1st until December 31st, let me tell you what happened. My income previous to that had been $5,000 to $6,000 a month, and my work week was 50, 60 hours a week. Now that's nothing spectacular or out of the ordinary, okay? This was back in early 06. Many people that were in sales, made that kind of money and worked those types of hours. So it wasn't something that others had not done. And I wasn't all that impressed myself either. But what happened is, as a result of being introduced to this material, 2 things happened. I learned how the laws of the universe work, and I learned how to reprogram my subconscious mind. Now you got to be able to do both to have the success that you want to have, because I got that additional training and coaching. But after going through that process, I went from $5,000 to $6,000 a month and working 50, 60 hours a week. And from May 1st, again, through December 31st of that year, I actually earned a little over $400,000. So when I took that by the 8 months in the year that was left, that turned out to be an average of about 50,000, a little over 50,000 a month. So earning 5,000 to 6,000, I jumped up to an average of 50. It wasn't 50 every month. I had one month it was 88, another month it was 30 something, but it averaged out to 50,000 a month. That was awesome for an income. But even more important was my time to me. And I ended up, instead of working 50, 60 hours a week to earn that $50,000 a month average income, I only worked 15 to 20 hours a week. So essentially my workload, my work week was cut by 2/3 and my income multiplied by almost 10 times, depending on what month you're comparing it to, right? If you're comparing it to a $5,000 a month, then yeah, it was 10 times. Compared to 6, maybe it was 8.5 or 9 times. But the point I'm sharing with you is this material, I want you to pay attention to the science of getting rich. Okay, again, I had more training than that, but this was the start for me. And it's been the start for several other people that have lived on this planet who've done very well, like Rhonda Byrne. All right. So we've been going a few days. We're on a chapter called Gratitude. It's actually my personal favorite chapter in the whole book. Maybe it'll become yours too. But again, I hope you go download the book at some point, get caught up with us. It's a short book. As you can see, it's only 77 pages long. And to get caught up with us to this point, you might need to read an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 30 minutes. Or you can go into the Facebook group, see the video recordings we've got, and catch up with us that way if you like to. All right. But if you don't want to do any of that, or you want to wait to do it, you can just follow along with my screen today, because I'm going to share it with you as I'm reading some of the material that's in the Science of Getting Rich and sharing commentary about it. Now, this is going to be interactive, not right this moment, but I always want to interact with the audience here that's with us. So what I do is I typically save 10 to 15 minutes at the end for you guys to share what you want to share and ask whatever questions you want to ask. So I'm telling you that now, because if you're trying to chat or get my attention while we're going through the reading process, I'm not going to pay attention to that. What we'll do is we'll come out of the screen share, and then we'll actually talk with each other. You'll again share your comments or ask your questions so that everybody goes away feeling like they understand the material and understand what we're doing today. All right. So let me go ahead and hop into this and get started. Let me get a sip of water first and we'll get rolling. Now, remember again, this book was published in 1910, okay? So it's an older book. So the way that people spoke back then and wrote back then was a little bit different, but you should get the gist of what's going on. Gratitude. The illustrations given in the last chapter will have conveyed to the reader the fact that the first step toward getting rich is to convey the idea of your wants to formless substance. So for those of you who are new today, let me tell you just briefly, quickly what formless substance is. Formless substance is matter, M-A-T-T-E-R, like the matter that things are made out of, or another scientific word would be energy, okay? Energy. What do I mean by energy? My hat, this cup of water, this part of my shirt, okay, my skin, the hair on my arm, okay? That is all made out of energy, the same stuff. You're like, what do you mean? It's all different stuff. Well, no, yes, right now it appears different to you. But if you put it under a high-powered microscope and bring it down to its absolute smallest form, it is actually all the same stuff. It's just organized a little bit differently, so it appears to us as something different. But as far as what it's made out of, it's all made out of matter. It's all made out of energy. So we're talking about formless substance. You'll hear that. You'll hear formless substance. You'll, in a few other things as Wallace Wattles talking, but I want you to understand what he's referring to, okay? So the illustrations given in the last chapter will have conveyed to the reader the fact that the first step toward getting rich is to convey the idea of your wants to the formless substance. This is true. And you will see that in order to do so, it becomes necessary to relate yourself to formless intelligence in a harmonious way. To secure this harmonious relation is a matter of such primary and vital importance that I shall give some space to its discussion here and give you instructions which, if you will follow them, will be certain to bring you into perfect unity of mind with God. The whole process of mental adjustment and atonement can be summed up in one word: gratitude. So first of all, first you believe there is one intelligent substance from which all things proceed. Okay. Second, you believe that this substance gives you everything you desire. And third, you relate yourself to it by a feeling of deep and profound gratitude. Many people who order their lives rightly in all other ways are kept in poverty by their lack of gratitude. Having received one gift from God, they cut the wires which connect them with Him by failing to make acknowledgement. It is easy to understand that the nearer we live to the source of wealth, the more wealth we shall receive. And it is easy also to understand that the soul that is always grateful lives in closer touch with God than the one which never looks to Him in thankful acknowledgement. The more gratefully we fix our minds on the Supreme when good things come to us, the more good things we will receive, and the more rapidly they will come. And the reason simply is that the mental attitude of gratitude draws the mind into closer touch with the source from which the blessings come. Okay. If it is a new thought to you that gratitude brings your whole mind into closer harmony with the creative energies of the universe, consider it well, and you will see that it is true. The good things you already have come to you along the line of obedience to certain laws, whether you understood you were obeying them or not. Okay. And the reason you don't have what you want is because you've been breaking certain laws, whether you were aware of them or not. Gratitude will lead your mind out along the ways by which things come, and it will keep you in close harmony with creative thought and prevent you from falling into competitive thought. Gratitude alone can keep you looking toward the all and preventing you from falling into the error of thinking of the supply as limited. And to do that would be fatal to your hopes. There is a law of gratitude, and it is absolutely necessary that you should observe the law if you are to get the results you seek. The law of gratitude is the natural principle that action and reaction are always equal and in opposite directions. The grateful outreaching of your mind in thankful praise to the Supreme is a liberation or expenditure of force. It cannot fail to reach that to which it's addressed, and the reaction is an instantaneous movement towards you. Okay, let me repeat this. The grateful outreaching of your mind in thankful praise to the Supreme is a liberation or expenditure of force. It actually has power behind it, and it cannot fail to reach that to which it's addressed. And the reaction is an instantaneous movement towards you. Draw nigh unto God, and He will draw nigh unto you. That is a statement of psychological truth. And if your gratitude is strong and constant, the reaction in formless substance will be strong and continuous. The movement of the things you want will always be toward you. Notice the grateful attitude that Jesus took, how He always seems to be saying, I thank Thee, Father, that Thou hearest me. You cannot exercise much power without gratitude, for it is gratitude that keeps you connected with power. But the value of gratitude does not consist solely in getting more blessings in the future. Without gratitude, you cannot long keep from dissatisfied thought regarding things as they are. The moment you permit your mind to dwell with dissatisfaction upon things as they are, you begin to lose ground. Why? Because you fix your attention upon the common, the ordinary, the poor, the squalid, and mean in your mind's form of these things. Hang on a second here. Okay. Then you will transmit these forms or mental images to the formless, and the common, the poor, the squalid, and mean will come to you. To permit your mind to dwell upon the inferior is to become inferior and to surround yourself with inferior things. On the other hand, to fix your attention on the best is to surround yourself with the best and to become the best. The creative power within us makes us into the image of that to which we give our attention. We are thinking substance. Okay, again, we have our own intelligence within, well, again, we have our own intelligence within us, but we are connected to everything else because why? We're made out of the same stuff. In us, we're thinking substance. We have the ability to originate thought. And thinking substance always takes the form of that which it thinks about. A grateful mind is constantly fixed upon the best. Therefore, it tends to become the best. It takes the form or character of the best and will receive the best. Also, faith is born of gratitude. Interesting. Repeat that. Faith is born, so it comes from gratitude. The grateful mind continually expects good things, and expectation becomes faith. The grateful mind continually expects good things, and its expectation, it becomes faith. The reaction of gratitude upon one's own mind produces faith, and every outgoing wave of grateful thanksgiving increases faith. He who has no feeling of gratitude cannot long retain a living faith. And without a living faith, you cannot get rich by the creative method, as we shall see in the following chapters. It is necessary then to cultivate the habit of being grateful for everything good thing that comes to you and to give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. Do not waste time thinking or talking about the shortcomings or wrong actions of plutocrats or trust magnates. Their organization of the world has made your opportunity. All you really get comes to you because of them. Do not rage against corrupt politicians. If it were not for politicians, we should fall into anarchy, and your opportunity would be greatly lessened. God has worked a long time and very patiently to bring us up to where we are in industry and government. And he's going right on with his work. There's not the least doubt that he will do away with plutocrats, trust magnates, captains of industry, and politicians as soon as they can be spared. But in the meantime, behold, have the attitude that they are all very good. Remember that they are all helping to arrange the lines of transmission along which your riches will come to you, and be grateful to them all. This will bring you in a harmonious relationship with the good in everything, and the good in everything will move toward you. Okay. What do we got here for time? Let's do this. I want to come out of screen share, make sure we have enough time to have discussion. And hey, welcome, welcome. Looks like several more people joined us since we first got started. Thank you for being here. I want to share something. A lot of you probably have been introduced to the idea that gratitude is good for you. Hopefully you have. You may not have fully known or may still not fully know. Matter of fact, I'm sure you don't, how powerful thankfulness and gratitude and appreciation and love, how those actually affect what we receive in our life. But I want to point out something, a story I heard Oprah tell about herself. And I'm just kind of telling it in my own words because it's been several years since I heard her tell the story. But Oprah totally promotes and thinks of gratitude as something important in her life. She had, gone on there. She had grown through to becoming a billionaire already. She had a lot of financial success. And part of what she had done is for years, she was in the habit of sharing things. She was in the habit of sharing, I say sharing, giving gratitude is what I mean. She was in the habit of writing down every day things she was grateful for. And that kept her in a good high vibration as she was going on and moving through her life and through her career. And again, she had already achieved, I don't know, it was a goal she set for herself, but she was a billionaire. Okay. Well, going along with her through her life, she actually got out of the habit for a while, not a long while, but it was for a period of several months. And she doesn't even really remember why she stopped or whatever, busy, I guess, and got out of the routine that she was in. So she quit writing down what she was grateful for each day. It didn't have an instantaneous negative impact. For some people, it will, but she had built up something so strong and had been so consistent with it over such a long period of time, she didn't notice instantly what was happening. But here's what ended up happening over a period of months, probably, I don't know how many months it was, if I remember, somewhere probably in the 5 to 8 month, 9 month range. She noticed that her business was tougher. Like the things that she needed to do on a daily basis became more heavy for her. And she had a situation that she was dealing with that was actually having her business go backwards a bit, financially. Now, not so much, if you're going from a billion down to, I don't know, 800 million or whatever, it's not like you can't buy lunch and feed your family and put food on the table and whatnot, right? But there's definitely, that's not the direction she was wanting things to go. So she was trying to figure out what was going on. And she was having trouble with some relationships too within her own business. So what did she end up doing? She figured out, she looked back at her routine. It's like, oh man, I stopped doing my daily gratitude. So she picked that habit back up. And within a matter of a few weeks, everything turned around. And literally in under a month or two, her business was totally, not only was it going well, it started getting better, even was. So I'm sharing that with you for you to understand that even if you're doing it good for a while, it's not something that you stop doing. It's something you do for the rest of your life. Okay. So I just wanted to share that about gratitude from someone that I think everybody on the planet knows, and somebody who we all know has done pretty darn well with their life. We could always pick apart anybody's life and say, yeah, but there's this part of their life that's not perfect. Okay, whatever. I would say that Oprah, as an example of somebody who's manifested a lot of wonderful things and has also been an influence for helping others learn how to manifest through her example, has done a good job. But again, she recognized that gratitude, she's like, if there's one thing that I absolutely got to do every single day for my life and not forget to do it, it is to take that time out to express gratitude to God and the universe, however you believe in it, but be thankful for the things. And her thing is 5 things that she's thankful for that happened that day. So some of us would just write things we're thankful for. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. Anything that you're thankful for, past, present, future, that you can write with true feeling of gratitude to God and the universe is going to put you in a good vibration. But she wanted to make it something. She writes hers, different people write them at different times, but she was finishing her day up with, okay, here's how my day went. How can I want to look for 5 things that happened during my day that I can be grateful for. So, okay, after sharing that with you, now is the time for us to go ahead and give you the opportunity to share what you want to share and or ask whatever questions you want to ask. Okay. So for those of you who are here with us for the first time, here's how this goes. What is appropriate to share? Well, if you want to share something you maybe learned or something that was woken up in you as a result of what we've gone through today or talked about so far today, that would be awesome. We've been here together since last Monday. Some of you have been here practically every day, or maybe you've even been here every day, which is great. So if you want to share something in relationship to what we've already gone through, that would be cool too. What else would be appropriate for you to share would be anything in relationship to you intentionally deciding that you want something and then actually having it manifest in your life if you want to share that story. Okay. Now, what kind of questions are appropriate? Well, questions are appropriate around the material we went through today, or what we've gone through in the past. The other questions that would be appropriate would be anything you want to ask me in relationship to attracting more money and wealth in your life. So if you would like to share, here's how we're going to do it. You're just going to come off of mute and you're going to share what you want to share or start asking whatever question you want to ask. If two people do it at the same time, we'll try and figure out who went first. And so then we'll have one of you go, then the other. Okay. But if you would like to share something, and by the way, we would like you to share something. You will always get more out of something like this if you're willing to share, okay, or ask questions. Because here's what the way I look at it. There are people that pay me, and I'm not doing this to brag, okay? I'm a coach. I'm a law of attraction coach. I'm good at what I do. This is my profession. I have people who pay me one-on-one $20,000 or more for 6 months to be their coach. Okay. I have people in a group coaching setting that pay me $5,000 or more in a group coaching setting for 6 months to be their coach. And then I teach some classes here and there that are the least expensive is $1,000. It's what I call my jump start. It's called your success puzzle. People pay me $1,000 to do that. So you're here for free today. Okay. But you still have Kevin. And because you have me, you ask me a question, I'm going to answer you the question. But if you sit there and you don't interact, then you're actually not getting what you could get. Okay. So I would appreciate you guys participating. If you need to only listen, I get it. It's okay. But at this point, this is your opportunity to share what you want to share and or ask whatever questions you want to ask. Now's your time. Just come off mute and start sharing.
Hi, I
Hi.
just want to know if sometimes, you become unsure. Like, what if I say, oh, I want to be a musician, but that's not for me? How is it okay to say, to ask the universe whatever is for me, to bring
Absolutely.
to me? I just don't want to be too vague. How can I get to that point?
Okay, perfect. We're going to be going through this, or did we go through it the other day? I'm trying to remember which part of Science of Getting Rich this is in, but there's essentially a piece in it. If it wasn't a few days ago, it's coming up. Okay. But essentially, you are not going to be given a desire to do something without it actually being possible. Think about that for a minute. You're not going to be given a desire to want to be, do, or have something if it's absolutely, in your case, impossible. Okay. So if you have the desire to do something, that doesn't mean you know how to do it. That just means that the ability within you to do it exists, or else you wouldn't have the thought in the first place. Now, here's something different. Like as a kid, right? Many of us, we have our imaginations, but even as teenagers or whatever, right? Like maybe you want to be the rock star, right? And maybe some of you guys are rock stars on here. Okay. You want to be the rock star as a teenager because the attention, this, that. So you have this desire to be the rock star. Well, there are people that take the desire to be the rock star and eventually become the rock star. And then there's those of us that just, yeah, it sounds like a cool thing because here's what I think the benefit of being a rock star would be, right? I think that would be fun because all this stuff would happen. Well, that person that becomes the rock star, they realize that they intuitively feel and they stay on the path. The other person that was just wanting it for some of the benefits of being a rock star, they talk about, they kid about it or whatever, but they never really put any true intention into it, and they never actually go down the path to become one. So that wasn't truly, that was just a thought that popped up. If you have something that's been calling to you and you've felt for a long time or even a short time but it feels intuitive to you that this is what you ought to do, then take that to God and then just ask if he's cool with it. However you choose to speak to God in the universe, right? But if I was, for instance, wanting to become, I want to learn an instrument, but not just for the sake of my pleasure, let's say the piano, but I want to become a concert pianist. Like that's truly going to become my profession, or I want to do something in the Olympics or whatever, right? At a higher level, I can always take it to God and ask God if that's a path I should go down. And then what I like to do is give myself an escape clause if I'm on the wrong path. So this is your little protection for you. You know, dear God and Heavenly Father, however you speak, I feel intuitively that I would like to do this. If this is what I'm supposed to do, help guide me down the path so that I can develop the talent, skills, and abilities to do it. And if I'm meant to do something else, that's fine too. I'm open to that. I'm open to doing this or something better. I like the or something better too when I'm asking for cars and houses and vacations and anything, because what will happen then is I want to focus and definitely be clear about what I want. But if it doesn't show up at the time frame or exactly as I want, I actually get slightly more excited instead of depressed usually, because that means God's setting up something even better. And invariably a day or two or a week or a month or whatever the amount of time is later, something better will show up. So don't be fearful of making a decision. Okay, make a decision, take it to God, and as long as you don't feel a negativity from God towards it, go towards it. Now, that doesn't mean you choose to do something and then you feel that God is in alignment with that, but then you take your first step and you feel scared or it seems a little hard. That doesn't mean God is against it. That means you have a subconscious program that's in opposition, not God. And we got to work on changing that subconscious programming so it's in alignment so that God, the universe, and you collectively with your subconscious are going in the same direction. But what a lot of people think is, okay, I've now made that decision. It felt right. It totally felt peace. I felt like, God, this is what I want to do. But then I started to do it and I got scared or it felt kind of hard. I was maybe guided to do something I've never done before. So I backed away. That must mean God doesn't want it for me. I'm not supposed to have it. No, that's not what that means. That means you were programmed. God's trying to change you for the better to make your life better. But your old subconscious programming is saying, that's change. Change is a scary thing. I'm supposed to keep you safe. And that's in opposition because you're going to be different than you are now if you follow that path. So, but if the subconscious mind isn't against it, it's going to line right up with it too. And it's going to feel a lot more like going down a freeway than getting stuck in traffic. Right? It's just, you'll easily flow that way. Is that helpful for you?
Yeah, so I'm thinking the best thing to do is to start with reprogramming my mind. Maybe it'll be easier.
The best thing to start with always, if you have not done so, is you do have to decide what you want your life to be like. And that's the hardest thing for people to do. They want to go do all the other stuff that you're supposed to do after that. But until you actually have that figured out, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but you need to go through the process of deciding a lifestyle that you want to live so that then you can attract into your life the things that will present that lifestyle to you. If you start out with, I want this kind of business, or I want this kind of money, or I want this, that, or the other, you could wake up maybe with a business that makes you money, but you work 120 hours a week, right? And that's
Right.
not what you wanted. Or you could maybe end up with something where you work like crazy and make no money or whatever. But if you have a life in mind that you want to live, I'd
Hmm.
like to live this kind of life in this kind of neighborhood, in this type of house, and drive this type of car, and have these types of friends, and go on these types of vacations. Then, by knowing that, it's like, oh, okay, well, then this is probably the type of business profession you should have or business you should be in. this is the type of help you need, and those things will come together. But
Mhm.
most people want to just start doing something, and so they want to say, well, I just want to make this much money.
Mhm.
And it rarely works out correctly. Matter of fact, most of the time when your goal is for a dollar figure, you won't make that goal anyway, because it doesn't attach to something that's more important to you, which is your actual life. It's just a dollar figure. And if it's way above and beyond anything you've ever had before, you don't even know what it feels like to have that kind of money anyway. And to live the life you want to live, it may take more money than you thought, or it may take quite a bit less money than you thought. You decide what you want life to be like, and let God in the universe guide you to do the things you need to do to receive it. So when my income, as a for instance, went from five to $6,000 a month very quickly, and from working 50, 60 hours a week up to $50,000 a month, but working 10 or 15 to 20 hours a week, I never set a goal to make $50,000. And I didn't actually set a specific goal to only work 15 to 20 hours. I had a vision of a lifestyle that I put out there. And it just so happened that the work week that I had and the amount of money I received was what was necessary to provide me with that lifestyle. And then God in the universe provided different opportunities. And those opportunities over the years have actually changed and fluctuated. I've had different businesses I've been involved in. I've sold some businesses that I've had. I've done different things, but it's all in relationship to what lifestyle am I creating and living for myself. And then God in the universe assure me, as long as I follow through intuition, inspiration, revelation, if I follow their path, I will take advantage of the right things at the right time. And I'll let go of the things necessary to let go of when they've run their course for me and they're not what I should be doing any longer. And of course, all those things give me experience too, which makes it, the farther you go along and the more you do this, the easier it kind of becomes. I still face the things that you guys do too, though. I still face oh, God and the universe are directing me to do something new that's I've never done before, or go a direction I never have. Well, for me, guess what? Same thing. Subconscious pops up and goes, you don't want to do that. But I recognize what's going on. So I'm like, well, that's fine. But God in the universe already gave me the big thumbs up. So I'm going to listen to God in the universe, even though you're trying to scream at me that I shouldn't be doing it. God in the universe already said yes. And so I'm going to ignore you, subconscious, until I get you programmed to the point where you're cooperating with me. And sometimes to get the subconscious to cooperate, you got to do what God in the universe says, regardless, even when subconscious is screaming at you. Then you come through it and everything's okay. Subconscious goes, oh, Kevin's going to do it anyway. So if he feels God in the universe told him to do something, I
Mhm.
should be in alignment with that too, because he's going to do it anyway. And it works out just fine. So now I'm just going to make it that much easier for him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, I know like what I want to do. I have that feeling of being independent, working independently, just not sure exactly what direction I want to go into, because I have a lot of things that I'm capable of, but I know where I want to live. I could see all of that in my manifestation when I'm manifesting, but
Uh,
it's just I just want a sign to know how to streamline it, what steps to take first in my career. So you're saying like if you do this, it can come to you. It will eventually come to you,
oh yeah, yeah. It'll come
which
to you if
you
if you're doing, and I say correctly, but that's a weird word to use too, because they're like, oh, then everybody gets scared. I'm not doing it right. um, I don't know everything you're doing right now, so I can't judge one way or the other. If it feels good, then it's probably correct. Okay. Um,
okay.
but I would say you need to still go live your life with whatever your current job or profession or whatever is. But as you become more and more clear, and as your subconscious starts to agree with it, you'll radiate differently, you'll vibe differently. And people around you will recognize the difference, but you'll run into new people. Like, what do you do currently for a profession, if anything?
Right now, I used to be in the fashion industry, but then I recently got my license doing insurance. It
Okay.
doesn't feel good to me.
Then
It's
I
just
wouldn't be
something that
doing
I had
it.
to do
And,
because of COVID, and I freaked
uh-huh.
out because the fashion industry was slow. But
Yeah.
other opportunities, I'm more of a creative person. And I
Okay.
was, how do I make good money in a creative industry? But like you
Uh-huh.
said, not working crazy hours and
Right.
being more dependent, working from home. I like working from home actually.
Awesome. So you just gave the perfect explanation of what most people do. I
Mhm.
want to make some money. You put,
Yeah.
right? And what makes
Uh-huh.
money? Oh, I know somebody or somebody told me that there's money doing this. And you
Mhm.
said, okay, you looked at it and go, okay, yeah, there is money doing this. I don't know if I'd like it or not. Oh, but there is a good money in doing this. But I don't know if I would enjoy on a daily basis the lifestyle I get doing it. I know, but you make a lot of money doing it. So you convince
Mhm.
yourself,
Yeah.
right? You convinced yourself God didn't tell you. Now, that doesn't mean, by the way, for those of you out there in insurance or thinking about it, that doesn't mean insurance is not what you do. It means for you, Katrina, it's not what you do. Okay. But another
Right.
person in that profession, they'll be guided by God in the universe and they'll tear it up because it'll fit their personality, it'll fit their skills, and God in the universe will line up the partnerships and the help and the knowledge and the mentorship and whatever is necessary to help this person
Mhm.
become a great insurance agent. But in your
Mhm.
case, if that's what people do, like every real estate, it's got to be real. And I get it. I've trained people, I've helped people with real estate, but I'm not going to tell any of you guys, like, this is the business you should do. That's between
Right.
you, God, the universe. I'll help you
Mhm.
understand what that is they're guiding you. But a lot of people, what they're doing is they come to the law of attraction saying, okay, what I want you to do, Kevin, I'm glad you recognize you don't even like the insurance for you. They want me to help them make more money through insurance,
Mhm.
right? And I'm like, well, what life do you want to live? Well, I want to learn how to be a better insurance agent. Okay.
Mhm.
But what it keeps coming back to that. I'm like, what if God just granted you tomorrow? I mean, he dropped $3 million in your lap. Would you go do insurance then? No. Okay. Then hush
Mhm.
and stay open to God giving it to you any way that actually suits you the best. And only God in the universe knows what those things are going to be for you. But you see, they're going to let you choose. That's part of our purpose for being here on earth, is for you to have the choice of what you would like your life to be like. Then their responsibility is to show you how to receive it. They're going to do most of the work and show you how to receive it, but you have to put in the correct order for what you want. And if you're in confusion with that, they're going to wait until it's clear, but your subconscious is not. Your subconscious is just going to be all jarbled up with she wants it, she doesn't, she loves me, she doesn't. It's kind of like, boy, she loves me not. She loves me, she loves me not. If you're doing that all the time with yourself, you're just creating chaos in your mind, but also you're going to feel it physiology. You're going to have, disruption in your life and everything because you haven't decided what you want life to be like.
Mhm.
You're just going to robotically go through life and keep getting what you've gotten so
Yeah, I just want to know, like, I know what I want my life to be like. I just want
far.
to
Okay.
make sure I'm going on the right path with the career, and I just wanted to kind of leave it open for the universe to
Yeah.
allow it to come to me and say, "Oh, Katrina, maybe get back into fashion or advertising or what you used to do, but not as
Yeah.
hectic and more stable."
Yeah. So stick with the lifestyle that you want to have and say, hey, God, however you pray, this is the lifestyle I would like to have. This is the lifestyle I've made up my mind. First of all, this or something better, and show me the next step. And it may take a day or two or three, or it may happen that day. Whatever you're guided to do, even if it's simply text Joe and start a conversation. Okay, maybe that's all you're told to do today. Go text Joe
Mhm.
and start a conversation then. You don't know
Mhm.
if Joe's going to be a partner, where it's going to lead, but if you feel intuitively you're supposed to do that, then go do it. And then you'll take a step or two at a time. Think of it as you're driving a car with headlights in the dark.
Right, that's how I feel.
You
Okay.
want to see the very end. Know that the very end does exist there. But if you're in California and you're trying to drive to New York, and you
Mhm.
want to wait till your headlights are bright enough to see the direction, or better yet, I'm not going to do anything. So you still got to move forward, follow the intuition, and do what you would normally do. But if you're waiting for every stoplight between here and New York to go green before you hit the gas,
Right.
you're never going to get to New York. You're not going to get out of your neighborhood, probably. So, yeah,
All
but
right.
by knowing what you want, just understand that we all want God to tell us the whole story now. Like, here's how your life is going to end up, and here's the roadmap for everything. But
Mhm.
that's going to change over time anyway, because even the lifestyle that you want, once you get to enjoy it and have it, it's still going to change a little as we age and whatnot, right? Depending on if you have kids or not or whatever, you're going to have different things. It's going to move. Mine, I'm not doing the exact same thing I was doing in 2006. But what I do know is as my lifestyle's changed a little for what I want, then different things fall out. Or certain businesses I had, okay, now's the time to sell it, or now's the time to change and do this, or now's the time to partner with somebody, or whatever, whatever, whatever.
Mhm. Okay. Then thank you for that advice. I'm going to try that. I just want it to come to me. So, like you said, I don't get into the insurance business and then I'm miserable. Just open it up for the universe to send me those signs and guide me in that direction. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Kevin, I have a quick question,
Okay.
please, before we wrap, if that's okay.
Uh-huh.
So I think I grabbed a journal, like a fresh journal, so that I can start journaling. Thank you for the reminder of the gratitude journal. But I think I'm sometimes. How do you deal with? And I've been coming every single day, so I'm really, really grateful for these sessions. But like when you're aggravated, when you're dealing with aggravation of from like a colleague or just everyday things where things that you're just like you don't understand certain things, how do you come out of that, I guess through gratitude, so that you're continuing to stay on the vibration that you want to stay on?
Okay. So sometimes I just answer questions. Sometimes I ask some questions too.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, just intuitively, what's the first thought that comes to you? What you should do when that happens?
Pray or let it go. Those are two of the things that
Pray or
let
let
it
it
go
go.
or pray.
Okay. Have you done that before successfully?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do it again. Just if it works for you, then you go, oh, okay, go do it. Now, granted, I know sometimes you're so heated that's not going to work, right? I don't freaking feel like praying right now. I want to punch so and so instead, right? Or let it go. It's just winding and winding and winding.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So there's a few different things to understand. What I would do is I would keep something around me that I can write on. And I would personally like the pray or whatever, but I would go to gratitude and I would go to things that have maybe something to do with that situation, but they just something completely outside, right? What I'm wanting to do is get myself to the point where I'm just not so angry. You may not get to your point where you're like totally positive instantly. All right. I just want to move it up the notch a little bit. I don't have it handy. I'm just wondering how long it'd take me to find it if I were to show it to you. Type into Google, you guys, emotional guidance system, and then type in image and then click on image. And what you will find, it's probably, it doesn't matter who it's from. A lot of people have copied the idea. The first time I heard it brought up was in The Secret, but the person that was talking about it was Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks. Some of you are like, who's that? What's that? Again, you could search out more or whatever if you want. But I like the chart because what it does is it shows a vibrational chart and what's positive and what's negative. But here's essentially what Esther has said in this process. If you're all the way at the bottom and then somebody's telling you be positive, think of the thing as a ladder that might need to be climbed. You are not going to go from depression to feeling love just by telling yourself to do so. So what do you maybe want to do with that? You might want to go from depression to anger. Well, you're like, well, anger is still in the negative side of this vibration. Yeah, but it's X number of steps higher than where you were. So you actually made some progress. Like you got pissed off at the situation instead. For a while, you've been depressed. Like, I'm depressed and I'm not doing anything. Then finally you're like, yeah, dang it. I'm going to get out of this situation no matter what. I'm sick and tired of this. That, funny enough, feels a little bit better than depression. Now to the outside world, they're like, you're just crazy, like that nothing's changed because they just see a person that's still not positive. But from there, you can make your way up a little higher and a little higher. If you're in a pretty good vibration and you catch yourself heading down, that's when you do what you call pivot, and you can move yourself back up a lot more quickly. If you know what you don't want, then you do know what you do want. Now, I'm not telling you don't focus on what you don't want, but most of the time when you ask somebody what they want, they start off by saying, I don't want, and they give you their big list of don't wants. Because they haven't made up their mind what they do want. They're just like, I don't like this thing. This food sucks, and this car, and my house where I'm like, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. So if they keep doing that with emotion, they'll keep getting it. But you can still use those thoughts and feelings to the positive, because if you don't want a rundown, raggedy car, then pivot. What I would like is a brand new blah, 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 and focus there. You can use anything that you don't want in life and just flip it around to its opposite and start speaking that way. So that way you catch yourself saying, oh, I don't want. What I do want is, but don't just keep doing the I don't want. Use it as a tool to flip it around and go, I don't want this junky car that won't start or whatever. What I would really like is, a car that's reliable, and it eventually you'll get more detailed and you'll get the dream car, whatever. But I'm talking this person in that situation that's just feeling bad, right? I don't like the outfit I'm wearing because it doesn't fit. Okay, what I would like is, right, to go on a shopping spree and buy a whole new wardrobe that I like today, that I feel good going out in. Right? Just take whatever it is that's negative that you're feeling at the time, and it should tell you, if you're thinking, I don't want, then you want the opposite. So use that as a tool to make a list of the things you do want. Don't focus on what you don't want. Don't stay there. Once you've made the list of what you do want, then you toss out what you don't want and you focus on what you do want.
So a mix of gratitude and just continuing to add to my 300 list.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Okay. All right.
Yep.
I can do that. Yeah. And I think the thank you for that. I think the switching the focus to what I do want was really, really helpful.
Awesome.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So I'm not holding anybody hostage. I know I keep repeating this, but if you're here with us for the first time, the class says it's going to go for 45 minutes. Essentially, the class happened. Okay. We've had some Q&A at this point. We have stayed a little bit longer, but I didn't make you stay here. Okay. That's what I'm getting at. If you need to go, there's always the recording, but sometimes I stay a little bit longer because I can and I want to, just because I'm trying to be a little more helpful, and my schedule might allow me to do so. Sometimes I got to pop off right after 45 minutes or so. But that being said, is there anybody that needs to go? You can go. But if there's anybody that wants to share another comment or ask another question, I can hang out for a few more minutes.
I do have a question. You just mentioned the recording. How can I find the recordings that was missed? As in, today is my first day joining you guys.
Awesome. So you're a little bit late today, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So let me go into, hopefully I've still got the link to everybody. We have a Facebook group that you can join, And within 24 to 48 hours of doing this, the recordings are in the Facebook group. So I just went into chat and typed a link that you can go to join our Facebook group.
Okay, and I have another question. Thank you
Okay.
for that as well. Is there anything that can be done, anything that you can naturally recommend to get out of a state of anxiety, if you will? I noticed that I'm just constantly in a state of anxiety, but for absolutely no reason, meaning there's nothing technically for me to worry about. I don't feel like I'm really worried about anything except for just worry for no reason, if you will. And I know from what I know, and again, I haven't been with your meetings thus far, but from what I am familiar with, it's very important, to feel good.
Yeah.
And the anxiety feeling is
I know.
messing with
Well,
my
and
ability
also
to
you
feel
create
good.
anxiety because it's like you have anxiety about having anxiety, right? It's like
Right.
I was told I'm supposed to feel good or I'll never get what I want, but I feel bad. So now I feel anxiety because I don't feel good. Therefore, I won't get what I want. Therefore, right?
Well, not exactly, because I
I know
definitely,
I'm getting a little facetious.
yeah, right, okay, yeah. But is there anything that you can recommend that we can do or practice, outside of taking anxiety medicine
Yeah.
to,
Did you
try to build
catch?
that back
Did
up?
you? I don't know how late you came today. Did you catch us reading about gratitude today?
I didn't, but I'm very familiar with gratitude.
Okay. Well, so what you're going to do is go find the book, and I show you in the video. So go join the Facebook group. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to tell you how to get a copy for free of the material we're going through right now.
Okay.
So watch one of the recordings. Okay. At least one.
Okay, I will do.
It'll
Okay,
tell
I
you.
will watch them all.
Yeah. But in there, I'm going to tell you a book, and then today's isn't posted yet because we're in the middle of doing it, but it was specifically on gratitude. Follow what was shared there, and that is the quickest. It won't always work, but it'll work most of the time. It's the quickest way to get yourself feeling better, but also your subconscious mind will still fight you. In other words, you'll know that you can go do it. But when you feel like the first thought is, I could go do that, but you're like, I'm not in the mood, then go do it.
Okay, got it.
In other words, your subconscious is going to want you to stay feeling in a funk. Because unfortunately, if you said this is kind of how your life has been, and this is how you're like, there's not any reason for it, but I still have this feeling, right?
Right.
Well, then it's a program running in your subconscious that says that's normal for you. That doesn't mean it's good for you, but that's what's normal for you. And your subconscious is going to take anything that it's been programmed with that it feels normal for you. And the subconscious is not going to want to cooperate when you want to change it. Your subconscious has a purpose, very good purposes in life. But one of those purposes, it's meant to keep you safe and keep you alive. And it's also meant to help you master things. The problem is the definition the subconscious mind gives to those words. Okay. Alive is kind of obvious. The subconscious knows when you're dead or alive. Okay. But safe, what is safe? And the subconscious definition, not our definition, but the subconscious definition of what is safe is what is normal. But then you got to look at what is normal as a definition to the subconscious mind. And it says what is normal for you. It doesn't look at norm, right? Like what society says is normal. It says whatever you feel is normal. Well, what do you feel is normal? Well, it's whatever you've allowed to be imprinted over time through media, through family, through profession, through your life's experience has programmed you to say this is normal for me. So subconscious goes, okay, normal equals safe. So if you're trying to change what's normal, it thinks it's not safe. So if it's normal for you to be broke, subconscious mind, funny enough, says, ooh, you're about to become rich. Danger, danger, danger. That's not safe because that's not normal for you. So as long as it thinks something is normal for you, it's going to keep you in the Groundhog Day pattern. You're just going to keep going through it until you get that program changed in your subconscious mind to accept a new normal. Even before it is normal per se, it has to accept things differently as being normal. Once it does that, your subconscious mind will assure that it becomes normal for you. So once your subconscious mind says you're wealthy, it accepts that idea at a subconscious level and agrees with it, you can't help but become wealthy. It will force you to become wealthy. It will move heaven and earth to make sure you become wealthy.
Okay, well, I
Once that's your
appreciate it.
program.
Right, got it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Any last additional questions or comments?
Hi, Kevin. I just have a quick question on
Okay.
the gratitude, saying what we're thankful for every day. So some of Bob Proctor's stuff talks about, I am so happy and grateful now
yeah.
that,
Mhm.
and it's kind of talking about things that aren't necessarily there yet, right?
Can be. Can be.
So do you recommend talking about, when we do our gratefulness practice every day, do you recommend being thankful for things that we have right now, or approaching it in that way of things to come?
All the above. All the above.
Okay.
You could even do a mix, like I'm going to do 5 things that happened in the last 24, 48 hours, and maybe 5 things that have not shown up yet that I want to be true. And you could even go back to, hey, when I was 3 years old, my best friend and I played in the sandbox. It's a matter of connecting with God in the universe on a level of vibration to where you now are in tune, in vibration with. Therefore, they can share with you inspiration, revelation, and intuition to guide and direct your life, because you're actually paying attention to what they're saying, because you're
Okay.
in vibration with them. So you're putting yourself into that. And that's just, it's something we should do anyway. But if you look at it as a tool and go, okay, I have times, you also have to understand that, like, I do mine in the morning usually. However,
Okay.
I've been known to not only do the morning, what'll happen is throughout the day, think about your car. Okay,
You think about things all day that you're grateful for, right? You just find
well, no,
yourself
that's
kind of
not,
like,
I wish.
oh, okay.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I do, sometimes I'm in that mode, okay? But actually, let me talk about a car for a minute. Most of the time, let's say it's not COVID related, so we're driving to our job every day, right?
Okay.
But let's say that we're going on a vacation, or let's say we're in the type of profession where we're in our car, but where we go to and the amount of miles we drive each day actually varies all the time, right? So we're in this habit of doing our gratitude thing in the morning. We're kind of putting gas in our car. But let's say the car has a relatively small tank, okay? So if you're going through life throughout the day and you're climbing more hills, do you get better or worse gas mileage?
Worse.
Right? If you're going longer distances in addition to what you normally do, are you going, you're mainly not getting different gas mileage, but instead of traveling 100 miles, you're traveling 300 miles. And if your tank only goes up to 280 miles, are you going to run out of gas before your day is over? Yes.
Yes.
So what I found is that I want to keep a pad or paper or something with me, because if I feel I'm starting to go down and feel bad, I can pull myself away from what I'm doing for a little bit, 10, 15, 20 minutes. It just depends, 5 minutes, and go do gratitude again. Well, guess what? I maybe don't get the tank all the way full because I don't have as much time early in the morning, but I'm able to get my tank high enough to where climbing those hills doesn't bring me down to zero. So I
Okay.
can finish up my day. So I've done it 3 or 4 times a day, sometimes, but normally once a day, but once or twice a day is usually going to be enough. But you may have one of those days where you're like, I'm feeling anxiety again. Well, go pull it out and do it again. Because
Okay.
like it said in the chapter, gratitude creates more faith.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys and gals, thank you for spending this time with us, and look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you. Everyone have a great day.
Yeah, thank
you.
you. You too.
Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you.
You're all welcome.